Welcome back, everybody, to Magnolia on Money, where we discuss everything financial from the economy to retirement. And I'm Ed Cox from Magnolia Wealth Management. And today we are going to discuss required minimum distributions. So we get a lot of questions about required minimum distributions, how they work, when do I have to start taking them, all the rules and nuances that go along with required distributions. And we've had a few changes recently in the law. And so I thought, you know what, it's a good time to do it. And typically in the third quarter is when we take the majority of the required distributions. Now, it's not always that way. Some clients like it earlier, but we do a lot of tax planning behind the scenes, getting ready for third quarter. And so required minimum distributions fall into that. So I thought, you know what, it's a good time. Let's go ahead and jump on that topic and discuss a little bit more about it. So we're going to build on it. Today I'm just going to discuss the general rules and a couple of things that you may not be aware of, but we're going to build on that over the next 3 or 4 weeks. So by the end of August, y'all be experts. All right, let's dive in. So couple of general rules here. Starting in 2020, new legislation increased the age. So we've always been under that 70 and a half, and that's what most people think of when they think of required minimum distributions is, hey, I've got to start doing this at 70 and a half. But the new legislation moved that out to 72, and so if you're starting your required minimum distributions after that date, starting in 2020, that you would use the 72 age. Now, couple of rules that go along with that. Now, you must have your required minimum distribution out of your account by December 31st every year, okay? There is one major caveat to that, and that is the year that you turn 72. So in the year that you turn 72, if your birthday falls after June the 30th, they will allow you to take your first distribution all the way until April the 1st. So you don't have to get it out by December 31st. You've got a few more months. If your birthday in the first time you take it, now that's just on the 72 year. If it falls in the second half of the year or after June the 30th, you can push that out. But, that means you have to make 2 distributions the next year. Okay. So for general purposes, and for most 95% of the time, everybody, I recommend just take your distribution in the year that you turn 72, whether it's at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year. If you can get it out in that year, most of the time it makes sense to do that, not to push it out where you have to take 2 distributions. Okay. Roth accounts. Now, Roth accounts are not required to take required minimum distributions. Why is that? There is no tax owed on the money. And the reason for required minimum distributions is the government wants their tax dollars on income that was never taxed. When you deferred your income and put that into your IRA, 401k accounts, you did not pay taxes. They want the tax money on that. And so Roth accounts, they've already been taxed. There's no tax due on that. And so there'd be no reason for them to make you take it out. Now, how is it calculated? So we use the previous year, or your December 31st value of the previous year, and we use the life expectancy tables to determine what you must withdraw. So here's how we calculate it. The year that you turn, so we use 72. You just turned 72. We take your value of all of your IRA accounts that are under your Social Security number, add them up, and divide them by this factor that the IRS gives us in a table. And this table's changed recently, so if you have an old table, it's not any good. This is the new table. And you take the December 31st of the previous year, divide it by this number, okay? And that is the amount of money that you must withdraw and pay tax on in that year, okay? So every year you can see as your divisor goes down, the amount of money that you would be pulling would probably go up, or the percentage of the amount that would go up. So their idea is by the time you've reached life expectancy, all the money in your account is basically out, and they have received all tax dollars on those dollars. So hope this helped. This is, like I said, just the general very beginning of us talking about required minimum distribution. There's tons of laws and different ages, and your spouse's age affects what you have to take. But in generally speaking, these are the rules that we kind of have to go by. Now, another question I always get, I'll end on this. Ed, what if I miss it? What if I don't take that? Or, you know what? I'm just not going to take it, not going to worry about it. What is the penalty? The penalty is 50% of the value you were supposed to take. So if you were supposed to take $10,000 in required minimum distribution, your penalty is $5,000 on that. So they take it very seriously. You got to start taking the money out, and you have to start paying the taxes on that. I hope that helped. Y'all have a great week. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.